Next on Worcester News Tonight, a religious organization inviting elected officials to a special presentation. More on the message they're hoping to send. Plus, we'll take you inside the DCU Center for a special look at monster trucks revving their engines right here in Worcester. Thank you for joining us. I'm Catherine Andrioli. The Islamic Society of Greater Worcester is inviting elected officials to a forum and cultural presentation on what it means to be a Muslim American. The event comes as the organization's efforts to build a Muslim cemetery in the town of Dudley moving forward. The Society says the presentation will highlight the aspects of being a Muslim American and other cultural aspects, including society's view on Muslim Americans through the past 20 years. The event will include a question and answer session. One member of the Islamic Society of Greater Worcester says it's important to have forums like these to have a constructive dialogue.
Where we did invite all locally elected officials, be it school board members, school committee members, town administrators, anybody who's politically active or interested in being active or understanding, to answer the question of what does it mean to be an American Muslim, not only in the current climate, but over the last 20 years. I don't believe Islamophobia happened overnight, and it will help describe what I believe has happened over the last 20 years.
And the event will be held at 248 East Mountain Street on Sunday. Several Dudley town officials are expected to attend. Concern in Southbridge after troubling comments are found in a report on special education. The comments were made by teachers. They were anonymous and in some instances contained racist remarks. Olivia Lemon has the details.
I can tell you it was the first time in my tenure as a public official and that I spoke out of place, I yelled.
Esteban Carrasco says he was shocked to see racist comments in a special education report for the Southbridge public school system. Carrasco is the chairman of the town's council. He says the report was requested to be done by the new superintendent to identify what was working well and ways to better serve students.
This past Tuesday night, for sake of transparency, the superintendent reached out to me and said, I want to hold a joint meeting because I want the town council to also know with the school committee what the findings are of this report.
The comments in the 53-page report are from special education teachers, but they are anonymous, so there is no way to identify who wrote them. One comment reads, all the Puerto Rican families end up living together because they cannot afford their own housing, and then they end up inbreeding.
Being Puerto Rican and being classified by a comment really was disheartening, and it really bothered me.
In a statement, Superintendent Jessica Hazenga says, I am deeply disturbed by the comments. They stand in direct opposition to the values of Southbridge Public Schools, what we stand for, and our belief about the children in our schools.
Those comments do not reflect what this town is about, what we want to do.
Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
Authorities have tracked down the Blackstone man wanted for questioning in his father's homicide. Glenn Armstrong was taken into custody in New Jersey. Now we are hearing from his estranged wife. Alicia Palumbo has the interview.
It's quite a shock because that could have been me and my children years ago.
Rachel Armstrong had trouble holding back tears after learning her estranged husband, Glenn Armstrong, is a person of interest in his 83-year-old father, Walter's murder in the Blackstone, Massachusetts home the two men shared.
I'm just very sorry that this had to happen to him. I'm happy it wasn't me, but it shouldn't have been anybody.
Rachel says she was with Glenn Armstrong for 5 years and they had 3 children together. She says the relationship soured after they married, and she not only took out restraining orders against him, but lived in fear even after they broke up.
He's physically abusive, substance abuse of alcohol and drugs, mental abuse.
Armstrong was arrested Thursday after running out of gas in his father's truck in New Jersey. He's previously served time for assaulting a bartender and threatening to kill the president. Rachel says she wouldn't be surprised if Glenn is eventually charged with his father's murder.
Because he's irrational when he gets to that point. He doesn't have any inclinations on when to stop. He just acts.
Armstrong is expected to return to Massachusetts to face charges here, but that has not been scheduled yet. At Blackstone Police Department, Alicia Palumbo, Worcester News Tonight.
A former Worcester factory, which is now an art gallery, held a public reception tonight, showcasing many unique pieces of art. The Sprinkler Factory's new exhibit takes up the entire second floor of the gallery. It features sculpture and two-dimensional painted artwork. The exhibit is described by the museum as a unique opportunity for the artist to imagine big and the viewer to become immersed in an all-encompassing environment. Local artists are pleased there's a venue like this to display their work.
Down here all the time, working really hard. You can get this in New York City if you want, but you don't have to go to New York City. You can stay right here in Worcester.
The exhibit features 50 Worcester-based artists. It runs from January 7th to February 25th. And many were out enjoying the ice skating rink on the Worcester Oval tonight. The colder temperatures allowed for some perfect skating conditions, as you can see right here on the Worcester Common. The city does invite everyone to go out and enjoy the rink, which will be open until late February. Students at a Worcester high school held a food drive this week to make sure their fellow classmates aren't going hungry. The service project is one way students are remembering the message of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Andy Madison has the story.
Everyone has a favorite food.
Pizza.
How come?
It's good.
But at Worcester South High School, not every student gets the recommended 3 meals a day.
A lot of students come to school just to get food, and if there's a holiday or a 3-day weekend and they miss out that day of food, it can be a real hardship for them.
So, all this week, 9th graders coordinating the school's first ever food drive, collecting food for the school's food pantry, and judging from the boxes of food collected on Friday.
I'd be like, wow, that's a lot.
From what I thought, it was going to be half, but it came out full.
They've been successful. The assistant principal says they reached their goal of collecting $1,000 worth of food. Non-perishable items were collected in the school and through several different community organizations in Worcester. It is a project the students did to give back to their community in the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr.
The homeless don't have to be starving in the streets, or those who cannot afford food don't have to be starving in the streets.
And one the students may tackle again in the future.
There was such a huge focus on food drives around Christmas time, and this is just 2 weeks after, that it was a little bit challenging for us to do those two things right in a row. But I think it's something that we might do more often.
The city has moved one step closer in establishing a fire history museum at Union Station. The Worcester Redevelopment Authority Board approved a memorandum understanding for the project. The WRA, who own Union Station, are planning with the Worcester Historical Fire Society about renting space on the first floor of the museum. Captain Gary Fleischer of the Worcester Fire Department is a member of the Historical Fire Society. He says the museum would showcase fire equipment and photographs from past decades. And if you're near the DCU Center this weekend, you'll probably hear the roar of big engines. The monster trucks are back in town this year. They're bringing a new event to the city, and our Rosalind Flaherty climbed on board and got a first-hand look at the action.
Lots of dirt, plenty of horsepower, and loud roars. Sure signs Monster Jam is back at the DCU Center.
The most action-packed show on 4 wheels.
New this year, Monster Jam is bringing their Triple Threat series. Drivers compete with Monster Jam trucks, ATVs, and speedsters. Their series promises more vehicles, more racing, and more action.
It's a true test of agility and endurance amongst all 8 athletes that we have here.
Bari Musauer drives Zombie. He has been competing in Monster Jam for 7 years and says it's his dream.
I was 6 years old when my mom took me to my first Monster Jam. I saw these huge trucks and I said, man, I got to do that.
As you can see, these trucks are huge. This tire is almost as tall as I am, and these trucks can fly up to 35 feet in the air.
1,500 horsepower, 10,000 pounds. We have 800-pound BKT tires, 66-inch, and all as big as it gets.
I got a chance to suit up and take a ride with Musauer in one of the speedsters.
Inside, it's like a big roller coaster, but we have so much great safety equipment that we're strapped in there so tight and that you feel completely secure. So it's like the best roller coaster you've ever been on.
The drivers say the fans is what makes Monster Jam, and their message to anyone wanting to do this: to follow your dreams.
Stick to what they are passionate for, stick to what they dream about, because one day you might be able to turn your passion into a profession like I did.
When you see them little girls come up to you and they're just amazed and they see what you're doing and they want to do it, and it's like, do it. You can do whatever you want to do.
Rosalind Flaherty,